Okay, I'm going to show you how to rearrange a common formula or rearrange an equation. And this is the process we'll go through when we start with an equation. This is the one we've got at the top, 3x plus 4. And if we're asked to make x or something, or we want to find out what x is, and we actually. So this is rearranging. Works. We'll start with some familiar equations, especially if you're a physicist. So we'll start with F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. So let's start with this. Now I'm going to rewrite this slightly to F equals m times a. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it just focuses our mind on the fact that our operation to effectively what we want to do is remove anything that isn't m from the right hand side. That means getting rid of the times a. Now what we need to understand is that the opposite to times is divide by a. We times by a, it pretty much cancels out. Done. So m. If we do this to one side, the right hand side, exactly the other side, and that way we're balancing. So when we do that, we'll end up with m will be left on its own, and we've got f divided by. So there is the equation rearranged, and the subject now is m equals f. We might be asked to find a. Now in this case, because it's very similar to this one, we'll start off in the same way. F equals m times a. Only this time we're not going to get rid of the a, we're going to get rid of the m. So again, we're times them to the opposite. Divide by m. Do the same to both. Balanced, and we'll end up with f equals a. In other words, a equals f divided by force divided. Okay, let's move on to our next one. Here's a density equation. Density equals mass over volume. So I'm going to write this out very slightly differently the first time, just to give you a little bit of a feel for this. D equals m divided by v. Let's just focus our mind again. We don't want this bit here, the divide v. So the opposite divide by v is to, and we must do the same to both sides. Keep it balanced. We end up with dv equals m. So m equals dv. Rearrange that to find m. If we want to find v, it's slightly more complicated. And we're going to do this in two steps. So we've got d equals m divided by v. Now, divided by v is not what I want. I just want v. At the moment, if we have a look at it here, v is a denominator. We don't want the v as a denominator. We want it as a numerator. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type by v. Might seem a little bit contrary to what we've said before. So we end up with dv equals m. Now, we are in a situation where we can sort this out to leave v on its own side. We do that by dividing by d both sides again. That will leave us with what we want. V equals m d. Okay, so those two. Okay, let's look at a slightly more complex one, an equation of motion. V equals u plus d. Now, we've got two bits to this, and what I want you to think about before you go too far with this, think about if we were to actually do this sum. For example, say we knew that u was 3 and 2 and 6 plus there. Now, if we knew how to do this, what we would do is we would do this bit first. We'd do the 2 times 6. Then, done that, we would 3 out 12. So when we come to do this, we kind of work backwards. So when we've got v u plus at, we want to leave u on its own. We move the whole of this in. Do is we're going to take away d, and we're going to take away d. How do we know to take away? Well, here it's add in the inverse way. So we end up with v minus 80. Let's say u. In other words, we've just found out u equals v minus d. If we were to find a, this is where it's slightly more complicated. V equals u plus t. Now, we are going to focus firstly this bit here, the u plus. That out of the way, then we'll deal with separate. So the opposite to u plus, or adding u on, would be to take away. and minus. That would give me b minus equals a t. Now I've got the problem with the t. I don't want the t there. I do want the a. So at the moment we've got a times t. So and divide by t. Divide on both sides. Give us b minus u all divided by. So if we were to write it out properly, we've got a equals b minus all over t. Our answer. We come and do the similar thing with this one. So b equals u plus a t. And we'll start off quite quickly. Very similar to minus u sides. Get balanced. T. Now I'm not going to t this time. I'm going to a because I want to get rid of the a and divide by a. That leaves me with v minus u over a v minus u. Right, let's have a look at our next one. So for question number, the next question, we're looking at the area of a circle. Area of a circle squared. Very little to do here because the only way we can we're not going to be finding pi. But we do have a squared, which is going to give us a little bit of a problem. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got a equals pi squared. First thing, let's get rid of the pi. So pi, and that will give me a over equals squared. The opposite is root. So when we do that, r equals square root of a. Those of you that know, with a square root, you get 1. Let's see if we find the radius of the answer is going to. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have the volume cone. So we want to find r, the radius, or the height. Now, I'm going to take a moment just to go through sort of rearrange this or rewrite this. V equals. Then I've got this bit pi r. But I've got a third in front of that. Now, when to times something by the third is a second. And when we write it like this format here, a little bit easier to deal with. It means exactly the same thing, interchangeable, but this is easier to do. So let's start at the top here. Do h for v equals pi r h over 3. Now, let's deal with the 3 first. We're going to times by 3. When we're divided by 3, if we times that, 3v by h. Now what we're going to is going to divide by pi r squared. You could do it in 2 steps if you wanted. Let's be a bit more efficient about this. A whole lot we want to do that. And that leaves with h will equal 3v divided by pi r. Okay, then to find r, got slight complexity here because we've got. So if we cheat a bit and nick this one here, now this is right. Steal that. Put so 3v equals pi h. Now what we're going to do, divide by h, that bit. That will leave me with 3v over h equals squared. R will equal the square root of 3v. Again, it'll be what we're looking for. Next. A bit more complicated, this one, a lot more mathsy. We'll start with finding a. I'm going to just change that to capital A, make things simple. Then I'm going to get rid of that, put it all over 2, similar to what so got a b over 2. First thing I want to do is get 2, so I'm going to 2 divided by 2, the opposite to that. C. Now I want to be left with a, so I'm going to b c space here. C. That leaves me with 2. A equals 2a over b What we can do, hang on a minute, A and B next to each other, we know literally A is that, B must be 2A over A. Now, where we do get a difference is with A equals, thought of as before by times 2, 2, 2A. Next, I'm going to 2A. Want C, I've got to do the opposite. That will mean sine inverse calculator shift sign. Then I need to put some brackets down. 2A. Okay, there it is. So that's it really. So thank you very much for watching. This is the end. Hope it's been. Take care.